Hello, and welcome to our continuing coverage of E3. My name is Aaron. With me is Zach, as always. Hello, Zach.
Hello, how's it going?
It's going well. We're going to talk about the Sony press conference today. Kind of a crazy format compared to other shows in E3 this year.
It was a really strange format. They had built two different stages in two different buildings. One of them was a church, and there was a specific reason why they had made it a church. But then as soon as they had shown one trailer there, they just packed up and had everyone move to the next place, and they didn't return to that church after that, which was really weird. And because of that, they had to do a weird intermission thing, but we're getting a little ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, so it started out, so my three criteria for a good press conference: you start with a crazy thing, you're not sure what it is, and this, we all knew what it was, but it was crazy. It was like a guy just sat down with a banjo and played a banjo for a while.
Yeah, it was really weird. I could not tell what was going on and what it was supposed to be an intro for, and it did last for a long time, so it started to get a little bit weird. And then they switched to a game cinematic from The Last of Us, and it was taking place in the very same church that they were in. So suddenly the theming all started making sense. And it was, I guess, kind of cool because they had that attention to detail.
Yeah.
But it was maybe a little much.
So this was a crazy gameplay trailer because it very clearly was on rails a little bit. And there were no objective markers. It was just the person playing knew where they had to go. And there were a lot of sequences that seemed to me to be very pre-scripted. But overall, I came away really wanting to play Last of Us 2. What about you?
Same. I have not played The Last of Us Part 1, but I did actually find myself kind of more interested in playing this game than I was before. Because I think we've talked about it before, about how I was kind of a little bit turned off by the trailer they showed last year because it just seemed like such a dour, gruesome bummer to me that I was like, I don't know if I can just be into this for that long, but it seemed cool. I couldn't tell how much of it was scripted and how much of it was something you could expect to play.
It seemed like a lot of it was scripted.
It was hard to tell for sure, but it did. I guess some of it seemed pretty scripted. And if it wasn't scripted, it was way smoother and gameplay wise than The Last of Us Part 1 from what I've seen.
I mean, Naughty Dog are really good at doing those cinematic moments where you're going through a thing that appears to be random, but you're you have some agency in it, so you know kind of the direction you're going. Those Uncharted games are very, very good at that. So they've refined the formula even since Last of Us 1.
Yeah, that's true.
But anyway, we talked about it earlier, but they built that tent solely for this. So once this got done, cut to this weird little stage, this desk with these people, and they were like, hey, we have to move everyone in that church to another place. So we're just going to talk at you for 15 minutes while things get set up.
I can't imagine what the planning stages were like when they brought up this idea and were like, yeah, we're totally going to do this. Because it seems like a waste of money and time to do that just to show one trailer and have a guy play a song for a couple of minutes. It seemed too much.
So they announced a couple of things on this stage. They said there's going to be a new game plus for God of War, which apparently people have been asking for. That's exciting. Call of Duty Black Ops 3 is now on PS Plus for free, surprise free game, which is great. And there's going to be some remastered maps
that are also free.
Yes.
Are you interested in checking that out just to get a taste of Call of Duty before Black Ops 4?
I would do that. Yeah, we could play a couple. I wouldn't mind. And since it's free, we can check it out. Other trailers they showed, there was a Days Gone trailer, which I did not care at all about. A couple of VR titles. There was the Ghost Giant, which looks interesting. It seems like you're just a huge guy in this fun little cartoon world. And Beat Saber, which is making the rounds. Everyone loves Beat Saber. So that's fun to see on PlayStation VR, so that'll be cool. And then what is Twin Mirror? I don't remember that either.
I have only the vaguest recollection of that trailer.
It must not have been that impactful if neither of us can remember it.
Yeah, well, and these trailers happen during that segment where they were just sort of trying to fill time while everyone shuffled over to the other stage. And so I kind of started tuning out when they were just like rapid fire. Here are some trailers for like some smaller indie stuff that we're not even really going to talk about. So because of that, I almost missed all of the Destiny 2 Forsaken trailer.
Yeah, they only brought two things Bungie only brought two things to E3. They brought a build of that Gambit, which we'll probably do a video on later, and then they brought this story trailer. And the story trailer is basically like close up on Cayde 6's face. He looks messed up. Slow turn of the camera, 180 degrees, and you see that Prince guy who was mean to you in the first Destiny. And he has Cayde 6's gun, and he seemingly kills Cayde 6's ghost and then shoots Cayde 6 in the head, and then just like is like, oh yeah, and then like walks off with a bunch of like people in tow. So that to me says Cayde 6 is dead.
Right. I kind of don't think he is though, or that he will be for long, because he is an exo, which if he was like human or what's the other race again?
Awoken.
Yeah, if he was awoken or human, like for sure he's dead, but because he's an exo, I feel like he could be revived, because aren't they all numbered based on the number of times they've been killed? So
I think you're right.
Going forward, he's Cayde 7.
Who can say? Because then after they showed the trailer, it showed like kind of a title card for the Forsaken, and it was like you holding the corpse, or at least the body of Cayde 6 in your arms. So I don't know, like I think a criticism that they've had about their stories, besides for them being terrible, is that they're way too lighthearted. Like there's that one strike where that girl is talking to you throughout it, and she's like, hey, real talk, I got something to say to you. And it's just all this like dumb stuff. Or like your ghost is constantly like quipping and being like a cartoon character. And so maybe they have heard that criticism and been like, all right, we're going to do some dark stuff, which I'd be very into. I mean, if they follow through with killing Cayde 6, that's a bold move, which I would be kind of on board for.
Yeah, well, you're famously anti like sad bummer stuff and killing off characters in movies.
I am fine with it in this way. Yeah, in this, I think I'm okay with it.
Well, the whole thing is obviously Bungie trying to or they're just basically trying to get the people to come back to Destiny, because they're taking the one likable character, like the biggest personality, the most interesting and fun character in this universe, and they're like, uh-oh, he might be dead now. Like, you're gonna have to come find out what happens and if he is still alive or not, and maybe get revenge on whoever did it.
They have said it's gonna be a revenge story.
Yeah.
Anyway, we started out with a man playing a banjo, cut to another man playing some kind of crazy flute for an extended amount of time as an intro to Ghost of Tsushima.
Yes, they had a really wide screen that was almost like wraparound. It was kind of a circular stage.
It was very cool.
Yeah, it was very cool. And then it went into a gameplay trailer for Ghost of Tsushima. But there again, kind of similar to The Last of Us, there's almost no HUD visible, or maybe there's entirely no HUD at all. And so it's hard to say how much of it was actual gameplay and how much of it was like cinematic faux gameplay from, just in the engine. Yeah,
I mean, you said the word cinematic, and I think that's the main word I would use to describe this trailer, because there was some stealth elements and there was some full-on combat, but the thing that stuck with me the most was the thing at the end where he's facing off against his former friend, and there's that beautiful tree losing its leaves, and then it starts to catch on fire, and there's the sunset, and that just looked like so picturesque and beautiful, like the perfect background to that kind of crazy fight they were having.
Yeah, it was gorgeous. Like, this game looks amazing. And like we said that we were hoping it would be super cinematic because of the trailer that they showed initially. And if this turns out to be what the game actually plays like, and it just sort of maintains that cinematic quality throughout the entire thing, like, that would be amazing.
I think I said in a previous video that I was hoping for something akin to an old PS2 game I used to play called Tenchu, which was like very stealth based. You played as ninjas. And I thought initially, based on the first trailer, that you were going to be kind of like a fallen from grace samurai that becomes a ninja. But now I'm not sure. It seems like you are just a samurai, and sometimes there are stealth elements. I'm very interested to see how they juggle that, and like how your skills progress throughout the game. If there are builds, like, can you build a more stealth character or a more like frontal assault character, or if it's just the story that designates when you do each of those things.
Well, it's very possible that what was shown was very early on in the game, because you've yet to actually have a run-in with the Mongols, who are the people that are attacking. And the cinematic trailer that they used to announce the game very clearly shows like some Mongol guy having attacked and like sacked the city, and he's kind of holding you and talking to you. And then after that, he like puts a thing over his face, you know, so it's still very possible that your prediction of him sort of becoming a ninja, it's still possible that that could happen.
Yeah, we'll see. Now, after Ghost of Tsushima, we got some quick fire other things. They had said they're only going to talk about 4 games, but they did talk about some other ones. And one of the ones I was super excited about was a game called Control, which was not on my radar at all.
Yeah, I'd never heard of this before, so if this was like announced previous to this, it had just slipped under my radar entirely. But it does look crazy. It looks like you play as this woman who has like some force powers, maybe?
Her gun is so cool because she's in this world that almost seems like she's in someone's consciousness or something. Like, it seems very mind-bendy, and her gun is constantly like pulsating cubes a little bit, and when she fires it, it like whips out and kind of transforms. And I thought that like,
well, it wasn't just her gun. It was the walls and everything around her. So it was like, whatever this world is, there's this technology that involves some sort of Transformers thing where things are just sort of constantly moving and like revolving around each other. And yeah, it looked insane.
They said 2019, so I'm excited to hear more about this. I hope they reveal more throughout the year. It could be a thing where we don't see this again until next E3, but this was a breakout thing for me that I was like very intrigued by, and I wanted to know more about.
This was from Remedy, the Max Payne and Alan Wake and Quantum Break developer. Like,
interesting.
Quantum Break was not well received, but like Alan Wake and Max Payne, I think, have their fans.
Yeah, I know some people that love Alan Wake. Moving forward, there's going to be a Resident Evil 2 remake, which people were freaking out about.
Yeah, there were people posting like their reactions as they were watching the press conference to YouTube, and they were all freaking out. Especially, like, I guess they love this game, they love the characters, and they were especially losing their minds over the fact that this is coming out in January.
Yeah, January 25th, 2019, so you don't have to wait a super long time for it.
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts 3 is up next. I have no connection to this, but I know people love it. It seems like they're adding Pirates of the Caribbean content, which may or may not have previously been in it. He said at one point in the trailer, he's like, oh man, I'm so happy I get to be a pirate again. So I don't know if it's like coming back to Pirates of the Caribbean. I'm not really sure, but I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on Kingdom Hearts 3?
I'm also not real familiar with the series, so I don't know if Pirates of the Caribbean has been in this series before or not, but it did show that, you know, it looked like content from At World's End, if you're familiar with the movies at all. That's the third one. It seemed like there's maybe ship battles. And
oh, yeah, I did see some of that.
Some, like, underwater exploration as well, maybe? I don't know. This game is looking more crazy every time I see it. And this trailer was like new stuff that had not been shown at any of the other conferences, which Like, they gave it to Sony instead of their very own Square Enix press conference.
Yeah, that was weird.
Weird decisions, but this is coming out January 29th. Like, January and February is gonna feel like the rush of, like, holiday releases, like fall, because there's so much stuff coming out January and February of next year.
Now we get to the main course of this press conference, the thing you and I were anticipating the most, I think, which was the Death Stranding trailer. There was no live, Kojima was not on stage doing a live demonstration, and they didn't talk about any multiplayer aspects, but this trailer was crazy.
Yeah, so the environments look pretty amazing, and it showed more of, what's his name? The guy from The Walking Dead, Norman Reedus, yeah.
Mm-hmm. His name is Sam in the game, I think.
Is it? I didn't catch that, but yeah, the facial animations look pretty amazing, and they showed Léa Seydoux. Léa Seydoux? I think that's how you say it. It's a French actress that I've seen in a lot of things.
Like
and
what?
I didn't know she was in this. She was
what
in.
Have you seen her in?
She made like a cameo appearance in Grand Budapest Hotel, a Wes Anderson movie.
Oh.
But she's also been in what was that movie with Colin Farrell? The Lobster. That's what it is.
Oh, yeah, okay.
She was in that. She's been in a bunch of stuff, but that's not important. Anyway, I recognized her right away. I was like, oh, I didn't know she was in this game. And like the facial animations for her are also amazing. So the graphically speaking, this game looks astounding. It's gonna.
There was another famous actress they revealed, right?
I didn't recognize who it was though.
It was the girl who used to play the Bionic Woman.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they added Lindsay Wagner. She's in a bunch of stuff. She's an older actress now. But yeah, she was interesting. I really liked the French girl's crazy umbrella and her like crazy dress that like changed how it looked. It was very cool. It seems like you're a courier of some sort based on this trailer.
I didn't get a whole lot from the trailer, but it does seem like maybe you are a courier and you're like, you always have these big packs full of stuff that you're supposed to carry to somebody. You know, you're delivering stuff.
You always seem to be in this like wasteland. And another interesting part was there's a part where they're like, what's your situation? And he's like, oh, it's bad. And they're like, hey, don't get eaten by these things. If you die, if they eat you, you'll come back, but this area will be all messed up. Kojima has hinted that like death is going to be an integral part of this and very interesting, but it's not going to mean loss of progression or any. I don't know. He's been very cryptic about it as usual, but it's weird. Like you'll die and you'll come back, but the area around where you die becomes infected or tainted in some way. I don't know. It was an interesting line of dialogue.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out what it meant, but I guess we will have to wait and see. There's no way to know for sure. And yeah, there's invisible monsters that seem to be illuminated either by the child that you're carrying or the like light thing that's sort of off your pack that's like blinking.
That is very cool, yeah.
So it's hard to say exactly what's going on there as well.
It seemed to me that you plugged in your flappy light contraption into the baby's capsule, so like maybe the baby was affecting the outside world via that thing. I don't know.
Yep, that's possible as well. It's very interesting, and it's also super bizarre, and I still don't know what to make of it.
I agree. Moving forward, they announced Nioh 2, which I have known a lot of people that are very into Nioh. It's sort of like a Japanese version of Dark Souls in that it's very difficult and there are very interesting monster designs. So this was a cool thing. I'm glad they're making another one.
Yeah, people really liked the first one. I remember when it came out, people were playing it on Twitch and I caught a little bit of it and it seemed pretty cool, but also because the Souls games aren't really my jam, I was kind of steered clear of it, but yeah, it's for those people.
Then we got into Spider-Man, which is coming out on the 14th, and it was a whole elongated sequence of you going to a prison, and there like 5 of your biggest enemies are in this prison, and there's been a jailbreak. So you're coming into contact with Rhino, Scorpion, Electro, some guy who flies, and then a crazy guy who looks like a photo negative, who I don't know who that is.
I think his name is Mr. Negative, but I don't know the Spider-Man universe, so I couldn't tell you for sure. But yeah, this kind of had a Batman Arkham Asylum feel to me because of the fact that it is like you go in and a bunch of the people you've put away in the past are like breaking out or whatever, and you have to deal with them all over again. But also just the combat of it, where it seems like you're going to get surrounded by a bunch of people and you're going to counter them and beat them up using
the
combos.
Combat looked like Arkham Asylum to me.
Yeah, although I will say I've seen a bunch of gameplay of this game since that didn't, like, this was super cinematic, the trailer that they showed. The gameplay I've seen looks incredible. Like, I'll be honest, I'm not a Spider-Man person, but this game seems crazy to me. Like, if you are a Spider-Man fan, this is like a dream come true because, like, the freedom and fluidity of the movement is just crazy. Like, you remember Prototype, how you could, like, run up walls and you could sort of fly around and everything? This is like that, but, like, even better. And because it is like a realistically rendered New York City, and you can totally like jump and fly around and swing around, and like the like web abilities that you have for combat and all of that stuff, it just looks amazing. I don't know how else to say it, I guess, but
yeah, I'm excited for it as well. I think it'll be something that I pick up.
I have never played a Spider-Man thing ever.
Oh, really?
But I kind of want to play this game just because it looks that good.
I played the one where the tutorial was voiced by Bruce Campbell, and I remember having a lot of fun playing that one. That was a long time ago. But yeah, this looks like something I would definitely pick up, and it seems like they have really nailed movement, and the graphics are beautiful. So
yeah, the graphics are great, and it seems like he's got a good sense of humor as well. Like, I think they may have nailed that aspect of Spider-Man, the character, as well.
Zach, I'm looking at your notes, and I don't remember anything after Spider-Man. What is this other VR game?
Oh, you tuned out.
I must have tuned out early.
Yeah, after Spider-Man, that was like supposedly the last thing. They went back to those people on the desk outside the show hall that they were doing. Yeah. And they were like, we have one more announcement for you. So technically this was a one more thing, which is something you like.
I don't know.
You don't count it as a one more thing? Like, they didn't do it.
I don't know.
They didn't do it in a very showy way, the way you would expect them to do.
Yeah.
But it was technically a one more thing because they were like, yeah, we got this other announcement. And it's, I don't know how you pronounce it, but it's a game called Deracine. That's probably wrong, but it's a VR game from Software, but obviously you expect...
That's very crazy to me.
Yeah, you expect From Software, it's going to be a Souls game, but this is not a Souls game at all. Definitely not. It's a huge departure from them. So the dialogue or the voiceover to the trailer said you're like a fairy. I don't know. It seems very artsy to me, and I have no idea what the story or gameplay is like from this trailer.
Interesting.
But it's if you have a PlayStation VR, this is something you'll probably want to keep an eye on.
Cool. Well, what was your game of the show?
Well, I was disappointed that they didn't show more Cyberpunk 2077 because I hear that they're like it's playable. They have demos and they're letting people play. Doors. And same with Battlefield 5. They have it playable, but they didn't show any more at this show. Same with Call of Duty Black Ops 4. They didn't show Blackout mode or anything like that. Game of the show, it's either Death Stranding or Ghost of Tsushima, but Spider-Man looked amazing as well. I guess I'm gonna go Ghost of Tsushima.
Really?
Even though I think I had those the other way around on my top 5. I knew I was going to be super into the aesthetic of Ghost of Tsushima, and I was going to be super into whatever that game ended up being. But what they showed made it seem really beautiful to me, and I don't know, like Death Stranding looks great as well, but it's so bizarre that I still don't know much about it, I feel like. And Ghost of Tsushima Like, I wanted more of that trailer as soon as it ended.
I have to go Death Stranding, I think.
We're split again.
We're split again. I don't think either of us is going to be able to change each other's minds.
Yeah. Are you not super into Ghost of Tsushima?
I am. It looked very cool, and I'm excited to play it, but I'm more excited for just like the insanity and the unknown reality of Death Stranding, and also that girl's umbrella. Not to harp on that umbrella, but it was very cool.
It was cool looking. I don't know if it's very practical as a thing to keep rain off of your head.
Well, you don't know what kind of rain is in this new world.
Maybe it does move all weird, but I'm still definitely going to play Death Stranding, and it does look amazing to me, but I don't know. I was just kind of blown away by how beautiful the Ghost of Tsushima trailer was.
Yeah, it was very cinematic, but all right. Well, stay tuned. We're going to have Nintendo coming up.
I would also, when we do our battle royale of games of the show or whatever, we should also kind of go over, the best E3 press conference and talk about
I agree.
Who won overall.
I think there's a clear winner, but yeah, we should do that as well. We'll do a bunch of recaps. Next week is going to be all post E3 content where we're going to discuss hidden gems and how we think everybody fared and games of the show and things like that. So if you are hyped up on E3 and you're sad there's not going to be anything E3 next week, keep coming to this channel because we're still going to be talking about E3.
For sure. I think there's plenty more to talk about.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching.
See ya.